Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of TheRemedy. Thank you so much for watching AIT TV empowering you. It's yet another beautiful Saturday here at the University Inn, and so glad that you're here, that you can be part of us. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you don't miss your favorite show or any other show on AIT TV. So this episode is for the big boys and girls. Do you sometimes find yourself pressured to do some things that either you're not interested in or you're not liking? Yeah, we are talking about adult peer pressure. Let's talk.
You're watching AIT TV, empowering you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dealing with adult peer pressure. I know so many of us hear this line all the time. And I'm not talking about the teenage peer pressure. Guys who are above 25, you know what I'm talking about, 25 onwards, in your late 20s, in your 30s, or even in your 20s, 40s, 50s. Guys, everyone actually has like adult peer pressure. Interesting, right? Because, while growing up, when you reach the teenage, stage, yeah, of course, adolescence would kick in and there's all sorts of peer pressure, We all know that that's the category that is usually susceptible to that. But it's interesting how peer pressure could actually be worse in adults. I know, right? Yeah. So without us going even further, I want us to first define what peer pressure is. And let me just start with the dictionary definition. So the dictionary defines peer pressure as social pressure by members of one's group to take a certain action, adopt certain values, or otherwise conform in order to be acceptable. You're taking a certain action because you want to fit in. That is the definition according to the dictionary. So I think now we all understand what peer pressure is. However, there's another interesting definition for me. Peer pressure is a feeling that one must do the same things as other people of one's age or social group in order to be liked or respected by them. Isn't that where we all fall? We all want to do things to be accepted by the people who are around us, We're in a certain setting and people are talking about something either finance related or spiritual related, and you just feel like you want to do the same thing, or you also want to come off like you're doing the same thing so that you're liked and respected by them. Basically, it's just the desire for you to fit in, So, like I said before, very interesting how even adults literally want to fit in, want to be liked, or want to be respected by their peers. And I think it's only natural, honestly. It's human. We all are, from time to time, you're in a group of people and you just want to fit in. So you're going to do everything that it takes, to fit in that group. So, yes, adult peer pressure is real. So we've defined what peer pressure is. And today we are talking about peer pressure in adults, But of course we will reference to the teenage peer pressure, of course, from time to time, because the stages are different and the actions are different, of course. So we have 6 types of peer pressure. Now, the first type of peer pressure is spoken peer pressure. Now, this is when someone asks, suggests, persuades, or otherwise directs another to engage in a certain behavior. It's right out there. It's direct, Someone comes up to you and they'll tell you, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? Or let's go and do this. I mean, let me give an example. Say you're a student, you're at school, and you're probably not very ready for your final exam. So a colleague will approach and will say, you know what, why don't we could find a way probably of cheating the exams, or, we find a way of just, getting a shortcut so that we are able to pass this exam. Now that is the spoken peer pressure, A peer comes straight up to you and they tell you, why don't we do this, why don't we do that, and like we are going to see as time goes on, peer pressure is not always negative. There's the positive one. If someone walking straight up to you and they ask or they tell you, why don't you come to my church or where I pray from, yeah, that could be good if you're someone who believes in a higher power, so peer pressure can also be good. Or someone can walk up to you and they tell you, why don't you come with me to the gym, we work out, keep fit, yeah, or why don't you come to me and you probably meet my personal doctor and they can probably advise you here and there. I've heard you complain about this and that. Yeah, so peer pressure can also be good, as we are going to see as time goes on. Now, there is the unspoken peer pressure. Now, for the unspoken peer pressure, you are exposed to actions and it's your choice to want to follow along. You sit in a group of people and let me give an example. Probably these guys are doing drugs and they don't exactly invite you, but it's up to you. You're looking at their actions. These are your peers. These are probably your friends, your colleagues, your acquaintances, people you look up to or people you respect. And it's entirely up to you to say, you know what? Why don't you initiate me? Introduce me. How does this thing work? So that is the unspoken peer pressure. There is just certain behaviors around you that you're exposed to, and it will be entirely up to you for you, to make the decision and say, okay, I can try this out, or I can try that. Like we said, it's not always the negative. It could be the good stuff. You sit down and you sit down with people who have like very good, finance brain. Someone is talking investment, and you're thinking, okay, maybe I could borrow a leaf. I could maybe try that out, something like that. Yeah. So it's unspoken peer pressure. You're just watching the actions of those around you, and it's entirely up to you to borrow a leaf. Now, we have what they call direct peer pressure. This one can be unspoken or spoken. For example, if someone makes a sexual advance to you, they haven't exactly said it, or they've probably said it, but it's direct. You know what this person is actually asking for. They've made a sexual advance. Remember, we are talking about adult peer pressure. So you're an adult, you're a big boy, you're a big girl, so you understand, you know exactly what this person wants from you. So it's direct, so it's entirely up to you like to make a decision. And usually this direct peer pressure, it kind of puts you in a situation where you have to make an on-the-spot decision. Someone just puts you in a corner and you have to make a decision there and then, like you're sort of compromised, if I may say. So that is the direct peer pressure. Yeah, so yeah, as an adult, yeah, your brains kick in and you see if you're going to take the decision to play along, or if it is something that is not working for you, then so be it. But it has been direct peer pressure. So you're an adult, you make up your mind and you see what to do about it. Then we also have the indirect peer pressure. So this one is subtle, but it can exert a strong influence, especially on a young person, Yeah, I think this one will leave it mainly for the teens. Say, for example, gossiping about a friend, You find a circle of people and they are gossiping about someone and you just have the urge. You just feel like falling in immediately, because you also want to contribute to the conversation. Yeah, so this one, we want to say it's probably among the teens, among the young people. But as an adult, it can also happen, yeah. It's in there, it's quiet, but then it can also have a strong influence on you. So that is the indirect peer pressure. Then the fifth type of peer pressure that we have is the negative peer pressure. Now, this one is the kind of pressure that engages you in behavior that is against your moral code or your values. Yeah, now that's the negative. This one is straight up, it's against your morals and it's against your values. You're someone who has set your head to, if I'm in school, I'm going to read, study hard, so then when the examinations come through, I am ready. I don't need to cheat or I don't need to bribe, It's against your morals. It's the morals you've said. And I mean, there's morals we have as individuals, but then we also have values as society. There is just those things that are, yeah, it's right, you know, that's the right thing to do, either as an individual or as a society. So the negative peer pressure is that pressure that just goes against your moral code or your set values. So that is the negative peer pressure. And I mean, you will agree with me, I think this is like the most peer pressure that we see, whether in teens, whether in adults. Negative peer pressure. And I think most of us, when we hear the word peer pressure, it's negative that comes in our head, but there is also positive, which brings me to the next type of peer pressure: positive peer pressure. Now, for positive peer pressure, we have healthy behaviors, it's age appropriate, and it's socially acceptable. Healthy behaviors, age appropriate, and socially acceptable. Those three things, you know, like it's right, it's in order to do this, you know, it's in order to, you know, keep healthy, it is in order to develop yourself, it's in order to respect, you know, others. Socially acceptable, age appropriate, health behaviors. And I want to believe, as adults, ideally that is the point where we should all be, the positive peer pressure. But again, like I said, we are human, and to human is error, and pressure will always be there. As long as you're in a society, no man is an island. As long as you're in a society with people, there will always be peer pressure. The unspoken, the direct, the indirect, the negative, the positive. So of course we strive to be the better versions of ourselves every day. So you want to take up the peer pressure, and you also want to give positive vibes to the people around you. You're not the one who is always making people just go onto the side of that negative peer pressure. So we are talking adult pressure, adult peer pressure. Now, I was thinking, and I just wondered what causes adult peer pressure. I think it is just 4 things for me. Number 1, it's the need to fit in. Like I said, we are from different backgrounds, we have different social standings, we have different religious beliefs. There's so much, you know, difference that we have. So the need to fit in, I think, is what brings about this whole peer pressure. You know, you sit in a group, and I was chatting with Henry before this. You sit in a group of people, you know, colleagues or friends or acquaintances, and someone is just going on and bragging about these imaginary properties that they have. I'm from seeing my ranch where, I'm from seeing my acres of land somewhere, you know. So now even you, when you feel like fitting in, now you start the same conversation. You're like, you know, my 5 trucks are stuck at the border. You know, that kind of conversation, eh? My container is stuck, I don't know, with customs. You want to fit in, you know. You want to fit in. Sometimes these people could actually be telling the truth. Sometimes guys are lying, you know. So you find like it's a group, it's a circle of people, and literally everyone is struggling to fit in. This one is lying, so in turn this one also lies, and another person lies. So there's a bunch of 6 people who are all telling lies about what is actually going on in their lives, you know. You know, the bragging, I'm from here, I have a home here, I have a home at the ranch, and then the person also tells you, yeah, I have apartments here. It's just like a group of people. So everyone is dying to fit in. I think that is one of the biggest reasons why we have this adult peer pressure, the need to fit in. We had an episode about low self-esteem some time back. Of course, with low self-esteem, you're very, very susceptible to peer pressure, because you just feel the need to get validated from people around you all the time, you know. You're not so sure about yourself. Am I good enough? Am I not good? You just always feel like you're not good enough. So you're always seeking validation. So for someone who is always seeking validation, definitely the negative peer pressure will hit you. Even the positive peer pressure will hit you, and then you just hit dead ends, you know. So what happens is, when you have so low self-esteem, if you notice, if someone has probably mentioned how they have started up this business and it's working for them and all that, you're also going to rush and invest in it without exactly thinking through to see if it's going to work for you, or if it is something you're passionate about. Low self-esteem people, you're like you're dying to fit in. You will do whatever it takes. So that is one other thing that brings about the adult peer pressure. You're easily swayed left, right, and center. And then the third reason why we may have adult peer pressure: fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. I mean, if you are a bunch of friends or colleagues, and then everyone is just going on, or everyone is just going in for this particular probably project, or just something, anything. It could be something for leisure, say taking a trip, or doing just something insane, like we always say, something that gives you the chills. So you also want to join because you fear being rejected. Because guess what? Let me give an example. If everyone goes bungee jumping and you don't want to bungee jump, you're going to fear that guys are going to feel like you're less of their friend, because why didn't you come on board with what we're going to do? I mean, it's a nice activity. It gives people the chills. I mean, kudos for you guys that enjoy such activities. But I mean, if it is just something that you're not comfortable with, then it should be okay. But because your bunch of friends are going to do it, you just feel the need, I have to do it. So you fear rejection. You don't want to be rejected in the circles that you have. So what happens? Adult peer pressure. And then, of course, that also comes with the need to feel safe and secure around your peers, You want to be seen to be flowing along with what they are doing, with what's going on in their lives. You just want to feel secure and safe around them. So guess what? You're going to want to flow along with everything that everyone else is doing. Yet remember, at the end of the day, you're an individual. I think sometimes we tend to forget who we are at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about you, what you feel, what makes you comfortable, what reasonably challenges you, There's one thing to take on challenges, guys. Yes, we love to challenge ourselves, but we also have to be reasonable as we are taking on the challenges. If someone else can take on this and you feel it's not going to work for you, or it's not working for you, or it's just draining energy out of you, what are we doing? Just so we can keep up with our friend, with a peer? No, it is not worth it. But again, like I said, we are adults. It's very, very hard, guys. It's very hard. Sometimes I'm also caught up in that phase, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. But then sometimes I take a chill pill and I'm like, I don't think this could be me. I'll just leave that for you. But it takes a certain kind of muscle also to just know the difference and know, okay, this is what this person can do, this is what this other person can do. Now let's not forget, there's something important I need to point out. Peer pressure is very different from you getting motivated or learning from your friends. There is a difference. There is peer pressure around you, and then there is you being motivated and inspired by your friends. Because I mean, every day we learn something new every day. So it shouldn't always come off as peer pressure, Don't think, probably this person is just bragging, or this one is lying, or this one wants to, lead me off the cliff. No. Sometimes, actually, most of the time, be inspired, be motivated. So however cooked up the story comes off, or however, weird the story comes off, just sit down and be motivated. And you're thinking, if this person has done this within this X amount of time, and they are having this going for themselves, be motivated, be inspired. Let it not always come up as some sort of peer pressure that you're compelled to do this, that you have to do this, So it is also motivation to be inspired by your peers, It's also very, very important. So let's learn the difference. What inspires you, what motivates you, and what is coming off as peer pressure to you. Let's go into a very quick break and we'll be right back.
You're watching Youth TV, empowering you.
You're still watching TheRemedy. You're with Claire today, and we are talking about adult peer pressures. Please don't watch alone. Call a friend. Am I speaking? Am I communicating? I'm talking to you, the 30-year-old who is just confused about life. Yeah. This one says this, you want to do it. This one does this, you want to do it. Yeah. Today we are going to learn how to deal with the adult peer pressures. Now, for me, there's 3 aspects that explain adult peer pressure well. Now, I'll go with the spiritual bit as the first one. Spiritual. If you're someone who believes that there is a higher power or there's a superior power, I don't know, you believe in God, you believe in Allah, or whatever higher power you believe in, peer pressure. So what happens is we have quite a number of churches, quite a number of sections. There is just so much information out there about spirituality, about religion. So sometimes do you find yourself in a position where you're being tossed left, right and center? Let me give an example. Probably you're Anglican and then someone is inviting you to the Catholic Church, or they're inviting you to the mosque, or they're inviting you to wherever you believe the higher power is. There is just that peer pressure sometimes. So I think at the end of the day, as we are adults, really, you're an adult, you're able to make up your mind and say, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm going to perform, and I believe I'm getting blessings from my superior power here. So the spiritual bit does come in. People don't talk about it, but it's the truth, I mean, we've seen it. You're walking around and let me say you're Catholic and someone is inviting you to your church and you're not feeling comfortable. It's okay, you can stay where you are. You believe there's a God that you pray to there. It's one God that we all pray to, I think, at the end of the day. So just be comfortable with where you are. And it's also okay, to visit other spiritual centers. Yeah, if you want to go to this church or if you want to go to the other religion, it's still fine. I want to think at the end of the day we still have the same superior power. I want to think it's the same that we believe in. Whatever works for you out there, just make sure you're not uncomfortable. Don't be pressured just to be somewhere you're not, because now if you're pressured to be somewhere you're not, then you're not feeling what you're praying, and it just defeats the whole purpose. Then the second one, I'm going to combine physical, mental and societal. Guys, society peer pressure. Let me start with the physical. You need to be a size 0, so you gotta lose weight. So now what you're going to do, you're going to starve yourself, you're going to take slimming tabs, you're going to drink all sorts of things. There's just that pressure. You're in a group of friends and you're the only one who is different. Whatever different, by the way, you could be the slim one, you could be the thick one, so you're just under pressure to look like your friends. Guys, be comfortable in your own skin. It ain't come easy. You work on it every day. We've talked about this before, along with the low self-esteem and the high self-esteem. So the physical bit. Now let me come to the society peer pressure. Guys, society peer pressure is real. I feel like we just need to have this whole separate topic at some point. Just society peer pressure, When are you doing this? When are you doing that? When are you finishing school? When are you getting a job? When are you getting a promotion? When are you having kids? When are you getting married? When are you finding a girlfriend? When are you finding a boyfriend? Guys, the pressure is real. Is it necessary? I don't know. I want to hear from you from the comment section, because the adults know what I'm talking about, especially the girls. Come close, 25 and above. Come close, and you don't have a ring on that finger yet. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you can't get married yet, can you have children at least? There's just like that pressure, yet those are huge lifetime decisions to take. As an individual, like, you shouldn't be influenced by society or anything. So guys, I know it's very difficult to drop. Our parents Our families will always tell us this, someone will always have something to say, but I don't think it's right, I don't think it's right. Then the third bit of peer pressure is around the finances, guys. Finances. Everyone wants to show how they are done, guys are competing in driving cars, guys are driving number plates, you're out, let me say you probably go out to, have a drink or two, and just because your friends are ordering these very expensive bottles where a bottle is 900,000, you, my friend, have 900,000 as your bank balance, you're like, it's okay, I'll spend it, I also want to buy that bottle. There's so much pressure around the finances, my God. Someone tells you I have this 2 billion investment, and you're thinking I need to borrow from left, right, and center to match up to this guy, Yet, like, work with what you have, work within your means, The finances, guys, they really put adults on pressure, So, at the end of the day, just work with what you have. And life will go on. I've said it's not simple, and again, like I've said, it's not always peer pressure. You can be motivated, you can pick lessons from people who are doing better than you in life, irrespective of, the age and all. There is always that thing of, I finished school with this guy, oh my God, at 28 he has this, he has that, and I'm still looking for this, I don't even have a small car, There is always that here. We compare ourselves to our peers, but then also be realistic. Let's learn to run our own races, guys. Be in your lane, run your own race, but then also don't forget to be inspired or to learn from your peers who are probably gonna step higher than you, So for me, those are the 3 areas I feel like there's a lot of peer pressure, a lot of it, the spiritual, the physical society, and then the financial bits. Let's learn to live within our means, guys. Let's learn to live within our means. I know it's hard. We want to keep up with our colleagues, our friends, and what they have going on in their lives. Someone has a family, and I don't know, this one has 2 kids, so you feel you need to give 3, so there's a difference, and then people are doing all sorts of things to keep up with their peers, guys. For the sake of peace of mind, let's work within what we have. Not getting comfortable, of course. You want to make tomorrow better. Just pick lessons, just get motivated, and just get inspired by your peers, not them pressurizing you to do something that you are not comfortable with, So to crown this all, how do we deal with peer pressure? Number 1 is know yourself. Know what feels right for you. Invest in your health and know where you want to go in life ahead. Just know yourself. This is me. This is what I want to do. I feel this is what is right for me. So this is what I'm going to do. Not everyone will agree, but it's just what feels right for you. You know yourself, It's that simple. I know it's hard. It takes work. It's not a one-day job. But, we work on ourselves every other day. Every other day you work on yourself. Number 2, be assertive. If I have said no, I mean no, like stand your ground. If someone, suggests this, or there's pressure to do a certain activity or something that you're not interested in, say no. Like, it's okay to say no, yeah. So, hi people pleasers, I know the no's scarce, but let's work on ourselves slowly by slowly. We'll get better. Yeah, because that's one of the ways we are going to beat this adult peer pressure. You have to say no when you have to say no. And lastly, validate yourself. Please don't wait for anyone to validate you. Don't wait for anyone to tell you you're beautiful. I know we love hearing these things, especially the girls. Oh, you're beautiful. If you're at work, oh, you're doing amazing, well done. Those words, of course, do motivate. Hi to the managers out there and the mentors. Motivate the people, but then also just validate yourself. If you've done something good for yourself, pat yourself on the back and say, well done to me. Excellent job. Wonderful, So then when other people say those words, they are coming in as secondary, You've already validated yourself, and you know what's good for you, you know what matters for you, and you're sure the choices that you've made are right for you. Adult peer pressure. I hope I've communicated. I hope we've been speaking. Please, I want to hear from you. If you are experiencing what they call adult peer pressure, I would love to hear your experiences in the comment section. Please share, like, recommend, this episode to friends. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Subscribe, hit the notification button, That way, every episode of The Remedy goes up, you do not miss a thing. I've been your host today, Claire. Henry behind the camera as always. Very wonderful guy. Till next Saturday, see you and keep watching the TV.